Today we will study Laplace equations, properties, maximum principle, and other consequences. So we started with some example of Laplace equation. So you have studied earlier heat equation or diffusion equation or a wave equation. So what was diffusion equation? Ut equal to kuxx. So if ut is 0, then what you got? Uxx equal to 0. And in wave equation, if utt equal to 0, and we say that these equations are stationary, independent of from time. So ut and u double t both are 0. So you got uxx equal to 0. And this is Laplace equation in one dimension. And in two dimension you can write uxx plus uyy equal to 0. And to write second derivative we have used notation delta. So this is just del 2 by del x square plus del 2 by del y square. Okay. So del u equal to 0. This is Laplace equation. And this delta is called Laplace operator or Laplacian. And also some text write this delta as nabla square. So what is nabla? Nabla is just first derivative operator. So del by del x, this is vector, del by del y in two dimension. So just take nabla dot nabla, that will be nabla square. So you can also use that notation, nabla square u equal to 0 instead of delta u equal to 0. So solution of Laplace equation is called harmonic function. And in one dimension you just have very simple equation uxx equal to 0. And if you integrate this equation, you got u equal to a plus bx. So what are two basic function here? 1 and b. So 1 and x. So constant and x, they are linearly independent solution of this equation. And but in higher dimension we will see that much different function will appear. So that is not just constant and x. So one dimensional equation don't provide any clue for higher dimension unless we study second order Laplace equation. And its inhomogeneous version is called Poisson equation. So delta u equal to f, or you say Laplacian of u equal to f. And this is called Poisson equation. And beside these diffusion and waves, they are stationary. There are many another example of Laplace and Poisson equations. So I have taken two example here. One is famous from complex analysis, that function of a analytic function of a complex variable. So what are analytic functions? So they are differentiable in an open set, and you can write series expansion for analytic function. So they have this kind of series expansion. So Cn z minus z naught power n, and running from 0 to infinity, with Cn is a complex constant. And if you take z equal to x plus iota y, then fz is just u plus iota v, where u and v are real and imaginary part of function f. And necessary condition for analyticity is that real and imaginary part, they satisfy Cauchy-Riemann equations. So what are Cauchy-Riemann equations? So ux equal to vy and vx equal to minus of uy. And you can derive those equations by differentiating this series. And further, we go further. So we again differentiate to get second derivative. So just that uxx, that will be Vyx, and you can write Vyx equal to Vxy. Okay, and from second, this is equal to minus of Uyy. So if I take first and last term, then Uxx plus Uy equal to 0. Similarly, if you take Vxx plus Vyy equal to 0, so you can say that real and imaginary part of any analytic function, they satisfy the Laplace equation, and they are called harmonic functions. One more example from fluid dynamics, steady fluid flow. So let quantity u and v be the horizontal and vertical component of the velocity vector. Field of steady incompressible. Incompressibility means this, like water. So ux plus vy equal to 0. And irrotational means curl of that vector is 0. So vx minus uy equal to 0. So flow is steady, incompressible and irrotational flow in 2 dimensions. So further you define differential of a function psi, d psi equal to, what is d psi? D psi will be v dx minus u dy, and further it is psi x, okay, psi x dx plus psi y dy. So if you define the differential of a function psi by this relation, then the incompressibility condition, first one, is the integrability condition for this differential. The resulting function is called the stream function because it is constant along flow line. Change is 0 along the flow lines. And you can write first derivative from this. So what is psi x? Psi x equal to v, and psi of y equal to minus of u. Okay, so again differentiate this. So psi xx, that is equal to vx, and psi yy from second, that is equal to minus of uy. And from this condition, curl is 0, so vx minus uy equal to 0. Okay, so vx minus uy, so sum of these two is 0. So psi xx plus psi yy equal to 0. So psi satisfy the Laplace equation. Okay, so that implied from irrotationality condition. So this is one physical example from fluid, and there are many examples of Laplace equation. Now we study its properties before solving it. So first property is maximum principle, and this is very similar to heat equation. Okay, so in the solution of Laplace equation, you will have domains like circle, okay, circle or some, you can say, interior of circle, something like that. Okay, so these will be regions for boundary value problem or something like that. Okay, so you will have connected and bounded region to solve Laplace equation. Connected means that if you draw any curve, so that curve also lies inside. So bounded connected domain we will consider for the solution of Laplace equation. Also you can take unbounded domains like exterior of a circle, that we study at the end of this topic, but at there you will see that you will be bounded. So now I will come to maximum principle. that is similar to heat equation. So what is principle? So let us say you are solving equation on this circle, or you can solve on some rectangular region something. So maxima will be attained on boundary. So that is the maximum principle. Okay, maxima on boundary, or minima on will also attained on boundary. So formally this is the maximum or minimum principle for Laplace equation. So we take Laplace equation uxx plus uyy equal to 0 in a bounded region D with boundary delta D, and here I am writing D union delta D equal to D bar closure of D. So then the maxima and minima of u attained on boundary. Okay, so maxima of u and minima of u will be attained on boundary of that domain. So whatever domain you have, you got maxima or minima on the boundary. So see, you satisfy the Laplace equation, and we assume that solution is continuous in closure of D. Since it is continuous, so it will attain its maxima somewhere in D bar, or you can say in D or on boundary. So continuous function takes its maxima on bounded domain, on bounded closed set. So let us say you attain its maxima at some point x0 y0 in domain D, not on boundary. Okay, so u x0 y0 equal to maxima of D. Let us denote this maxima by m0, which is bigger than mb. And what is mb? This is maxima at the boundary, and we are assuming that maxima is not attained on the boundary. So now define a new function v in term of u plus epsilon x minus x naught square y minus y naught square. So in limiting case at boundary, when x goes to x0, y goes to y0, this is just v and u both are same. For some epsilon positive. So now we can check that v x0 at x0 y0, v and u both are same, so m0, and maxima of v from this relation. Okay, so from this relation, maxima of v on boundary is less than maxima of this will be less than mb plus epsilon d square, where d is the diameter of that set D. You can think D is a circle. So for such epsilon, the maxima of v cannot occur on boundary. So okay, so this number is greater than v. Okay, so maxima of v cannot occur on the boundary because m0 equal to v x0 y0, as we said that at x0 y0 u and v both are same and equal to m0. Okay, so this is greater than maxima of v at boundary. This implies that there are some points in D where v is greater than m0. Let us denote that point by x1 y1. So v x1 y1 is maxima of D, maxima of v in D. So at x1 y1, due to the maxima v xs less than or equal to 0, v yy less than or equal to 0 by second derivative test. So their sum is also less than or equal to 0. So from this equation, you can check that vxx plus vyy equal to uxx plus uyy plus second derivative. Okay, from just differentiate 2 with respect to x and y. So you got vxx plus vyy greater than 0, but and here uxx plus uyy equal to 0. So this is a contradiction to 3. Okay, so you cannot have that point x1 y1. So maxima of v on that d bar is not equal to maxima of v on d. So the maximum of u attains on the boundary. And to prove the minimum of u is also achieved on the boundary, so you need to replace u with minus u and apply the same argument to show that minima is also attained on the boundary. So this is very important principle that is satisfied by Laplace equation, that maxima of u is attained on the boundary of that bounded connected region. Now we move some application of this principle, maximum or minimum principle. And first application is that we derive the maximum and minimum principle for Poisson equation. That is, we derive this principle for non-homogeneous equation. So you have Laplacian u equal to f. So version of this principle is that D is a bounded domain in R2 with boundary delta D. Then the maximum of u for Poisson equation attained on boundary if f is positive in D, and minimum of u occur on boundary if f is negative in D. So you have condition on f. And to prove this principle, we apply maximum and minimum principle for homogeneous equation. So by taking equal to 0. So since u is continuous in closed and bounded domain, so it must take its maxima in D or on boundary. Suppose maxima is assumed at a point x0, y0 in domain D. Then u x0, y0 equal to maxima of u. And let us suppose f is positive in domain D. Then at x0, y0 we have uxx less than or equal to 0 by second derivative test for maxima, and uyy is also less than or equal to 0. And f is positive, so it follows from Poisson equation uxx plus uyy greater than 0. Okay, so right hand side is positive, so is left hand side. But we have proved that this is both sound is negative, so which is a contradiction. So hence the maxima of u must occur on boundary. And to show that minimum of u attains on boundary if f is negative in D, you need to replace u with minus u in the preceding argument, and this is equivalent to replacing f by minus f in equation. Since f is negative, so you got minus f positive, and we conclude that minus u assume its maxima on boundary, therefore u assume its minima on boundary. So this completes the proof. And further you can use this principle, maximum minimum principle, to prove uniqueness and continuous dependence of the solution for Dirichlet problem. That solution is unique and solution continuously dependent on data. So firstly we prove that solution is unique. So you have a domain D which is bounded in R2 with boundary delta D. Then solution of Dirichlet problem, delta u equal to f in D, and this is boundary condition u equal to g on boundary. Okay, this is boundary condition. And solution, if it exists, it is unique. So on the contrary, you assume that we have two solutions u1 and u2, and define their difference v equal to u1 minus u2. Then we satisfy, you can check just fit derivative of here. So fxy that will be 0. So delta v is 0 in D and vxy equal to 0 on boundary. Okay, so transform the equation into v. So by using maximum principle, so v is 0 on boundary and this is the maximum value. Okay, so v is 0 on boundary and which is maxima. So v is 0 everywhere. So v is 0, so u1 and u2 both are equal. And now we show that solution continuously dependent on the boundary data. And what is continuous dependence means? So if you take two boundary value problems, say just take delta u1 equal to f in D with this boundary condition. Okay, so you can use same notation, delta u equal to f with one condition, u equal to g on boundary. And second problem is, so delta u2 equal to f in domain and u2 equal to h on boundary. So what is continuous dependence? So if g and h are close enough, okay, so that is their difference, g minus h, their difference goes to 0. So they are close to each other. Then solution u1 and u2, they are also close to each other. So the difference will goes to 0. That we need to prove. Okay, so if g and h are close to each other, so this means so solution continuously dependent on the boundary data. So we take v, difference of u1 and u2, then delta v equal to 0 in D with v equal to g minus h on boundary. Just change the equation into variable v. Then by maximum or minimum principle, we attain its maxima on boundary. And what is the value of on boundary? This is g minus h. So you can say g minus h, this is the maxima. So write v, maxima of g minus h. What will be maxima? Mod of g minus h. And that is on boundary. Okay. And what will be the minima of g minus h? That will be the negative of g minus h, mod of. Okay. Negative sign. Okay. So negative. Okay. So negative of maxima. So if I take g minus h less than epsilon, so g and h are close to each other, then from above equation you have minus of epsilon, so v lies between minus epsilon to plus epsilon. So this means v is less than epsilon. Okay, so g minus h less than epsilon implies v mod of v less than epsilon for all points in that domain D with boundary. So as soon as g approaches to h, so v approaches to 0. So v approaches to 0 means u1 and u2 both are same. So u1 approaches to u2 and vice versa, and u2 approaches to u1. So solution continuously dependent on the boundary data g and h. So we have just proved the maximum principle and its application. Its application to prove uniqueness, continuous dependence, and also we have found a maximum principle for non-homogeneous Poisson equation. So now we will study one important property of this equation, which is invariance. So invariance means that equation will remain same if you apply some transformation. So Laplace equation is invariant under all rigid motions. A rigid motion in the plane consists of translations and rotations. So we will study two things. One is translation, that you just translate
x variable with x plus a, y with y plus b, and write new variable as x dash and y dash. And it is easy to check that. Just apply chain rule to find derivative. So uxx plus uyy equal to ux dash x dash plus uy dash y dash. So equation remains same under translation. Second is invariant property under rotation. So we are rotating the plane through an angle alpha. So what we are doing, so you have xy coordinate system. So this is xy. Okay, so I am finding a new coordinate system after rotating the original. So just this is new coordinate system x dash after rotating an angle alpha. So here is alpha. This is y axis and this is my new axis y dash. Okay, so these are new transformation. You can easily prove that x dash equal to x cos alpha plus y sin alpha, y dash equal to minus x sin alpha plus y cos alpha. So in new coordinate system, you will write a point x dash y dash in the form of x and y. And these are just simple transformation that you have studied in elementary geometry. So in new rotated coordinate system, we need to find u x dash y dash plus u y dash y dash. So just apply chain rule to find derivative ux. What will be ux? Curly u by curly x dash, and this is curly x dash by curly x. Then this will be uy dash, then y dash with respect to x. So just apply chain rule to find ux, uy, uxx, uyy. Then add uxx plus uyy. So you got this one, and this is equal to this one. So mixed derivative term become 0, and so equation is same. So in new coordinate system, equation is just same. So xx plus uyy equal to 0 implies ux dash x dash plus uy dash y dash is also 0. So this proves that invariance of Laplace operator into two dimensions. So equation remain same under two transformation, translation and rotation. And further we move to transform this equation into polar coordinate, and we will see that, and we will study some properties of this equation by writing this equation into polar system. So what are polar coordinate? So now I am making third transformation. I am writing this equation into polar variable in two dimension. Okay, so what are polar coordinate? X equal to r cos theta, y equal to r sin theta, which has Jacobian matrix. This is a Jacobian matrix. You can easily find derivative from those relations. And determinant of this Jacobian matrix, determinant of this will be r. So okay, so cos square theta, r will be common. So cos square theta plus sin square. So this is just r, and which is just non-zero. So this determinant of Jacobian is non-zero, so you can transform, you can make these transformation. They are well defined. And further you need to find derivative in term of r and theta. So just apply chain rule to find ur, then u theta, then urr, then u theta theta. So transform the given equation into polar coordinate, and then you can verify that urr plus 1 by r ur plus 1 by r square u theta theta is uxx plus uyy. So in polar coordinate, the equation become this. Okay, so and also we study one special case, that is rotationally invariant
means there is no rotation, so you can take theta 0, so this term will vanish. So in that case, equation will become urr plus 1 by r ur, and you can easily integrate this equation. So you can write exact derivative of r ur equal to 0. On integrating, you got r ur equal to c1, some constant. Further integration yields u equal to c1 log r plus c2, and this is called fundamental solution of the Laplace equation, which is rotationally invariant, and this function log r play an important role in higher dimension as well. So solution is just u equal to c1 log of r plus c2. So now we move to study first example of solution of Laplace equation, that is harmonic function, in rectangles. Okay, so finally I am solving boundary value problem for Laplace equation by using famous method separation of variable. Okay, so I am taking Laplace equation in a rectangle. So rectangle, so 0 to a, so 0 to b, so just take this rectangular region. Okay, 0a cross 0b, so rectangular region with boundary condition prescribed on 4 edges of the rectangle. So we have boundary condition on 4 sides. Okay, given by I1, I2, I3 and I4. So finally you have this equation uxx plus uyy equal to 0 on that rectangle, and uy x0 first condition is hx, uy xb is gx, ux0y is jy, and uxay equal to k of y. So uy x0, so you have 4 boundary conditions, and these are Newman boundary condition. So you can also study other boundary condition, Dirichlet or mixed or some. They can be handled in similar manner. So we are studying Laplace equation with the boundary conditions. So solution of that problem can be written as sum of 4 solution u1, u2, u3, u4, where each of the u1, u2, u3, u4 solve the Laplace equation in rectangle with the vanishing boundary data on all edges. This means that you first find u1 by taking other boundary data as 0, and then you find u2 by taking other boundary data as 0, and so on. So it is enough to finally on one ui, so we can find u1 or u2 or u3 and u4, and process will be similar. And so let us find u3. Okay, and in the same manner you can find u1, u2 and u4. So we would like to solve the boundary value problem. Okay, so take other conditions, 3 conditions as 0. So just keep this edge only, non-zero. Okay, and method is separation of variable. So just assume that u equal to xy, plug in equation uxx plus uy, so you got this one. Separate the variable, so you can write x double dash by x on left hand side, y double dash by y with negative sign on right hand side, and both are fixed. Say this constant is lambda, and you got 2 OD, one in x, one in y, and apply boundary condition. So first apply to 0 boundary condition. Okay, and these condition will give you y dash 0 and y dash b equal to 0. So firstly we are solving equation of y. So you have problem this one, this OD with 2 boundary conditions, and we solved this equation many times. So eigenvalues are this n pi by b square, and these are eigenfunctions. So plugging these of lambda into equation for x. So you need to solve now x equation in the same manner, but for constant eigenvalue and for positive eigenvalue. So when lambda 0 equal to 0, so you have just x double dash equal to 0. So solution is this, a plus bx. But I am writing a0 by 2 and b0 by 2 so that you can find all Fourier coefficient together. And for other value of lambda, so you have this equation and solution is this exponential form. And instead of these exponential, you can also write hyperbolic sine or cosine. That is your choice. And differentiate this. Okay, so boundary condition are in derivative. So differentiate first. You got this one. Now boundary condition. When x equal to a, so you have x dash a equal to 0. Okay. So this gives the following condition for the an and bn. So x dash a equal to 0, so x double dash a equal to 0. So just fit here. Okay, so x dash, so this is x dash a 0 implies b0 by 2 equal to 0. So b0 is just 0. And x n dash a equal to 0 in second solution, that give you bn equal to an times this. So this means you can write bn as a multiple of an. So write everything in an instead of bn and take an outside. So this is the solution. So now combining that constant solution and other solutions, you can write solution in this form, uxy equal to this. And finally, now we apply inhomogeneous boundary condition, okay, to find u3. That condition was ux0y equal to j of y. So just differentiate this one with respect to x and then fit x equal to 0. So this is, you got this one. So from this you can find this Fourier coefficient an n pi by b. Okay, write this jn, and what is jn? That will be 2 by b jy cos n pi by b dy. So it is simple to find this Fourier coefficient. So coefficient is all together. So this is the coefficient. Okay, so series in y. So this is the coefficient. So an n pi by b 1 minus e 2 n pi a by b. This whole together equal to 2 by b jy, this one. And I am writing this coefficient with jn to just simplify. So by plugging the Fourier coefficient, you can find the solution. So finally, so this is the solution, final solution. That can exponential positive power, exponential negative, and multiply by cos n pi by b. So in that way, you can solve the Laplace equation on bounded domain by using separation of variable. And now I take one more